Just ahead on American Black Journal, it's Black History Month, and my guests are local history makers. I'll talk with the first African American to hold the office of Wayne County Clerk, and we'll hear from an African American business owner who made history in the eye care industry. Plus, details on a club whose members have achieved first in their field. Stay right there. American Black Journal starts now.
At Dte Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. Dte Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. In celebration of Black History Month, we're shining the light on African American history right here in Michigan. The 400 Study Club is one place where you can find many local history makers. The 70-year-old organization's members are Black professional women, many of whom have achieved firsts in their field. Here to tell us more about the club and its history is the president, Barbara Jean Johnson, along with club member, the Honorable Teola Hunter, who was the first African American and first female to serve as Wayne County Clerk. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So tell me about this organization, the Study Club.
Well,
why is it called a Study Club?
Well, it's called the Study Club. It was formed about 7 years ago, and Miss Sadie L. Palmer from People's Community Church, she's the one who started it, and it was for business and professional women. They had a stipulation in the bylaws. They could only be 40 members, 40 people who were doing something in the community, and they had 7 closest to us members. And it was so interesting because State Senator Jackie Vaughn, he was always one of our closest members, and he would always be at the meeting like he was a regular member. But anyway,
well, he couldn't be a member.
He couldn't be a member. That's right. That's right. And so when Ms. Palmer started this club years ago, it became a very influential club. They've only had 3 presidents in the history of the club. Ms. Palmer, of course, was the first president. She was the founder, and she was the first president, and she was the president until she died at age 100. One of the interesting things about the Sadie L. Palmer 400 Study Club is the longevity that we have in the clubs. There are a lot of members. I think we have more centenarians than a lot of places. We have like 8 or 9 centenarians,
really?
100 and over. We have several in the 90s, 80s. And 70s. I'm one of the younger ones. I won't tell you my age, I'm just kidding. But our youngest member is, I think she's about 38.
Okay.
And so we've had women who have done so many things in the community and have catapulted things into the Black community to make a difference.
Yeah, but talk about what the club itself does.
Well, it's just what we try to do, and the motto of the club, what Ms. Palmer would always say, is to grow old gracefully. And we, at one time, they would take trips and stuff. We talk about current events. We talk about the things that's going on in the community and how we can make a difference. And a lot of our members have made a difference. They've made a difference in doing different things. We have people who have been politically involved in the community. Several politicians are members of it. Certainly the Honorable Teola Hunter, who's here with us, and you've mentioned that she was the first Wayne County Clerk. Jackie Curry, the Honorable Jackie Curry, who was the first female city clerk. Okay, the Honorable Barbara Rose Collins, and Barbara Rose would have been with us today, but she had surgery yesterday, and she certainly would have been here, and she wanted to be here, but she was the first female African-American to be in Congress from the state of Michigan.
That's right.
Right. We've had so many firsts. We had Miss Charity Hall, who was the first female Shell owner of a Shell station. Yvonne Knox, who was the first female to own a McDonald's in the state of Michigan. And all of the politicians who've been in there, like Dr. Nellis James Saunders, who started 15 different sororities, and just so many people. Miss Daisy Elliott, who recently passed. And all of us know Miss Elliott. She was the person who introduced, she was the co-author of the Michigan Civil Rights Bill, and she was also the first appointed Speaker of the House for the, so many firsts.
Miss Hunter, I grew up in Detroit in the 70s and 80s, and I have to say the first thing I knew about clerk was that Teola Hunter was a clerk. I mean, it's almost in my mind that those things are the same thing. But I also imagine that when you were running for that office and before, it wasn't a given, of course, that a woman or that a black woman could have that job.
That's right. And Stephen, let me tell you, when I started campaigning for that job, and some of the areas in Wayne County,
Right.
certainly they were not accustomed to see a woman campaigning for that position, nor were they accustomed to see an African American woman campaigning for that position. And I can recall one community in particular when I was going around at one of the socials that they had, and as I walked through introducing myself, and before I could get to this particular woman, she says, "Who in the hell is she?" And so I heard her, and of course I turned around and I smiled at her. I said, "Oh, I heard you wondering who I was." And I said, "I'm Teola Hunter, and I'm running for the office of the Wayne County Clerk." "Oh, you want Colleen's job, huh?" Well, she thought Colleen was still running. And so I assured her that Colleen was not running and that I was the person who was running for that office. Not only, and she kind of had a growl look on her face. And so she, as I passed by her, I heard her say, "She'll never get it," just like that.
Oh, no.
And I had to go back to these community meetings more than once. And so I had to build up that, my confidence and also my personality
So they get to know you.
To get to know me.
Yeah.
And go on.
Talk about how you overcame that in that first. What year was that first election? I can't
That election was in 1992.
92. Okay.
1992.
Yeah.
That's when it was.
Yeah. Wow.
And but going back, you had to go back more than 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And by the time the campaign was ready to be implemented, this woman was loving me.
Right, you won her over, right? And probably got her
won
vote.
her over, and also that community, I won them over, and to say little more,
Yeah.
I won the race.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Talk about how the study club has sort of helped you in your career, or given you sort of grounding in the community over the years.
I've known about the 400 Study Club for many years. Its reputation preceded me. And of course, Barbara, Jean, and I, we were campaigning for office at not too long ago. Matter of fact, when I was running for clerk, I think. And Barbara Jean said, "I want you to join this group of women with me." And Barbara Jean is very persuasive. You know that, right?
Right.
And so
Say no.
I couldn't say no. And I was very happy because, first of all, my first mother-in-law was a member of the 400 Study Club.
Okay.
And she was a very active member, and I loved her a lot. So I was happy to be in one of the clubs that she had been a member when it first began years ago. I like it because I can interact with other women, and there are women in that club, in our club, that I had never met before. You know, in the community, you think you know everybody and what have you. We have people who have written a couple of books. One lady is right now finishing another book that she has written. And of course, you have people who are in the business arena. And so you interact with so many people that have different ideas and different lifestyles than yours. And so it's an education.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about the club now versus before. I mean, for much of its history, it's been about legal barriers or certainly cultural barriers to women and black women doing the things that they want to do. Little different picture now, but you sort of still have to keep that spirit alive. Do you see it among the younger members that?
Right, and we don't have a lot of younger members, as I indicated. Our youngest member is Jamie Clayton Cameron, and she was elected as the first female international president of funeral homes and morticians.
Okay.
So she's in a field that traditionally has not been that of women.
For women especially. Right?
For women especially, but her mother is Yolanda Cameron, Yolanda Dte Cameron, and so they are with Dte Memorial Funeral Home.
Okay.
And so we have outstanding women like that who are first. Jamie is the first in that field. We have so many. Javetta Bell, who was the first to go to Marshall College in West Virginia.
Okay.
And she was certainly active in the NAACP as the top ticket seller, worked at Wayne County Community College as one of as the assistant administrator. We have a family of sisters. Our vice president is Elaine McKinney, and she and two of her sisters, her only two sisters, Janet Milburn Birch and Eleanor Hill, are also members of the club.
Okay.
They're all members of the club. Janet was director of Human Services for Calhoun County and Kalamazoo County. Eleanor served with the judges. She was a court officer for Judge Donna Coleman and for Judge Van Etworth. And so these sisters have come together. It's a club of like sisterhood.
Sisterhood, yeah.
Sisterhood.
Is that what you feel?
I feel that way, yes. Also Marjorie Harris.
And Phyllis Ponders.
And Phyllis
Dr. Marjorie Harris.
Ponders. They were, of course, Lewis College of Business.
Right.
Their mother,
Yes.
Violet T. Lewis, she was the founder of Lewis College of Business. And it's so amazing because I knew their mother, and I was friends of their mother far before I was friends of Marjorie Harris and Phyllis Ponders.
Yeah.
And so we have, and Marjorie now at this time is in her 90s, and she's a member of the club, and she is quite a person who brings a lot to the club with the history that she has with being the president of the Lewis College of Business.
Yeah. We've got about a minute left. Talk about the future of this club. As you said, a lot of the members are older.
A lot of them are. There are some younger people, but I'm the third president. I've been the president for 15 years now. And so the president, you know, it's been an organization where we've had a lot of people who, you know, you stick and stay. Don't go away, you die out of the club, really. We've had people, the future is very bright because one of the things that a lot of the members, like Vera Buford, she was the first person, first female who ever worked, first African-American who worked for New York Life, and Lou Ella Moore, and Sadie Beaumar, and all of these people, they did first in their categories. The future is bright because the young people who've come in, we work as a service organization, really.
Yeah.
We do things in the community to make a difference in the lives of people. One of the things, and we all have different backgrounds. We all have things that we do. I've worked, as you know, in state, city, and county government. Next stop, the White House. No, federal government. And anyway, but we groom people. We take young people under our wings, and people, good role models and mentors, like Teola Hunter, the Honorable Teola Hunter, and Honorable Barbara Rose Collins, and so many others. We try to lead the young people into places that they need to go and not to forget their history.
We're going to have
not to forget.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
that's all right.
We're out of segment time. Of course, we could be talking about this
forever
for another hour. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Coming up next on American Black Journal, a black business owner talks about making history in the eye care industry. But first, here's a look at some important moments in Detroit's black history.
I'm Ken Coleman with a look back at African American life in Detroit. This week in 1967, Aretha Franklin recorded Respect. In 1906, longtime drugstore owner Sidney Barthwell was born. And in 1972, the Michigan Chronicle reported that Marie Farrell Donaldson was believed to be the first Black woman to earn the status of certified public accountant. These are significant events this week in Detroit's Black history, taken from the book On This Day, African American Life in Detroit.
In 1975, George Barnes Jr. became the first African-American optician to own and operate a full-service optical center in Michigan. Today, he has 3 locations in Detroit and also offers vision care programs to employers throughout a nationwide network of nearly 20,000 providers. Barnes gives back to the community through scholarships and jobs. He's also teamed up with former Detroit Mayor Dave Bing to provide free vision care and eyeglasses to the young men in the Bing Youth Institute's mentoring program. I'm pleased to welcome George Barnes Jr., founder of Heritage Optical Center, to American Black Journal. Thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having me, Steve.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
So talk about what made you want to be an optician.
Well, it was kind of funny. I was getting an eye exam by a doctor, an optometrist, and he mentioned that there's not any Black opticians that he knows of.
Yeah. What year is that?
This was in 1964. 1964.
No Black opticians that he knows of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I looked at it, and I know they had Ferris State University and a couple other places, and they had another school. This is American Optical.
Yeah.
Had an opticianry program. I applied and was accepted, and for 2 years I was at school at American Optical. Got drafted into the Army and did 2 years there. But the good thing about it is that I was put back into the optical program after my basic training.
Okay, wow.
So my MOS was in 42E20. So after that, I completed my 2 years, went back, finished up at American Optical, and my first job was at Metropolitan Hospital on Tuxedo.
Oh, wow.
The old Walter Reuther
Not
Hospital.
a lot of people would remember that, right?
That was quite a while.
And what made you, talk about that turn from being an optician to saying, hey, you know, I want to start optical centers, I want to start, you know, a network of coverage for people.
Well, yeah, after working in the hospital for 6 years, people kept telling me, why don't you start your business? Why don't you start your own business? You know, people come in, everybody wants to see you. So in 1975, July 14th, I started Heritage Optical on Shane and Lafayette. That was my first.
So I grew up in that area, and I remember that shop like it's yesterday.
Well, we're still pretty close in that area. We have moved to one area. One facility is in One Woodward is our administrative office.
Right.
We have a Heritage Optical on 7 Mile in Illinois, and we have a Heritage Optical facility on Shane and Jefferson.
Jefferson now.
Right,
Yeah.
and also in the CompuWare building. So those are 3 facilities that we have in the city of Detroit.
Yeah, yeah, and the network of coverage that you guys provide,
Well,
that's a different.
The Heritage Opticals are retail.
Yeah.
We also have a company called Heritage Vision Plans.
Right.
And the way that really started was Coleman Alexander Young. After 5 or 6 years in business, I approached the mayor to do business with the city of Detroit. Well, I was granted that, and it was another optical company along with Heritage Optical. We started doing business with the city of Detroit. And I got a license to administer vision programs, and that I became the only African American in the state of Michigan to hold that license.
To have that license and
I'm still the only African American in the state of Michigan that holds a license to do fully insured and self-fund programs.
Wow, wow. Talk about the climate for Black entrepreneurs when you started versus the climate today. I would imagine it's a lot different.
A lot different.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started, well, we had really no one in the business,
Yeah.
so it was like a scratch. I think today's climate really started from really Coleman Alexander Young.
in the city of Detroit.
In the city of
really opening up opportunities.
Opening up opportunities.
that were not there before.
Once I was able to start doing business in the city of Detroit, then I was able to do business with the Board of Education. So I had 2 fairly large clients that I was working with.
Yeah.
And we springboard from there. So I think over time, the city of Detroit was very good to me. Of course, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and my dad came and started working at Ford Motor Company.
like run lots of people's stories, right?
And I became Ford Motor Company's first minority to administer their vision programs throughout North America.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the things you give back. The program you have with the Bing Institute or the Bing Youth Institute is one example, but there are some others too, right?
Oh yeah. Look, this is that's fun.
Yeah.
One of the things that the former Mayor Dave Bing approached me with in terms of, at this particular time, he had 60 youth. And 60 mentors, mentees. And I mentioned to him, I said, you know, part of the problem that we have in our school system is kids can't see.
Yeah.
It's not that they're bad, it's just that they can't see, and so they do other things.
And there's no one there to sort of identify that as the problem or get them an eye exam and some glasses.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So I told him that I said, what I will do is you have 60 now, you're going to have another 60. I said, I will give those who need eye exams. In fact, we give every one of them an eye exam. And those who need glasses, we will supply them with glasses. And that's what we have done with the Bing Institute. And actually, we have programs like that now. I am part of the University of Detroit School of Business, and we have programs in which I am sponsoring youth in the city of Detroit, African American males.
Yeah.
We're giving scholarships to them. So we have a 5-year commitment, and that we're going to
get them to college, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's great support for the community. You think black businesses, though, can do more to support one another in the city, right?
They can.
Yeah.
And, you know, part of it is just trust.
Yeah.
Relationships, all of those things, you know, we need that. You know, with relationships come trust. And the black businesses that I deal with, and we are dealing with many of them in Heritage Vision Plan or Heritage Vision. So, but it's the trust, the diversity allows us to move throughout the state of Michigan. So the black businesses working together, speaking to one another.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it's part of it is just trust and understanding each other.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got about a minute left. Talk about some of the challenges that still sit in front of African American businesses.
Well, just to give you an idea, you know, the governor wants persons to do business in the state of Michigan. And many times what I always say, we have to peel the onion back in healthcare.
Right.
To see who really is doing the business.
Right.
And since in the healthcare end, we are headquartered. I'm saying just at least give the business to those companies that are at least headquartered in Michigan.
In Michigan.
Providing,
in Detroit.
and
right?
especially in Detroit, providing that, you know, they have the capability of handling that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying, peel the onion back. And see I'm not telling companies outside the state of Michigan you can't do business, but when you have companies in Michigan that can do the business, give it to them.
They ought to get that.
Yeah, we should get it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for being here, and congratulations on
Well, thank you.
something really special.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for all you do in the city of
I
Detroit.
appreciate that. All right. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Black Panther Party. The first feature-length documentary exploring the group's history and influence on American culture airs here on Detroit Public Television this week. The film is called The Black Panthers, Vanguard of the Revolution.
The Black Panthers.
The Black Panthers were absolutely unique.
police jump on you, beat you up. This is what we were going through on a daily basis.
Now we have voices that we're not going to turn the other cheek.
Stop brutalizing our community or we're going to drive these pigs out.
We don't hate nobody because of their color. We hate oppression.
We wanted the entire community to follow.
The Black Panthers Camp Vanguard of the Revolution premieres here on Detroit Public Television on Tuesday, February 16th at 9 p.m. It's going to rebroadcast the morning of February 17th. And coming up on the next American Black Journal, I'm going to talk with Kathleen Cleaver, the former wife of Black Panthers co-founder Eldridge Cleaver and the party's first communications secretary. That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org. And as always, you can connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. Plus, you can hear our program on WDET 1019 FM. We'll see you next time.
At Dte Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. Dte Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.